So whenever I'm setting a target right now, it's just a path basically every single time, and that's already kind of because in my templates I have this thing that I think is quite cool where it kind of emulates protocols, so it's not cache/data, but it's like HTTP : / and so forth, which gets resolved into cache just as a folder. But there are other instances, for example, where it might be I think source, so src gets resolved into cache source, so it doesn't go into the root source folder but into a cache source folder. And the reason why that's interesting is, well, it's kind of a relic of the make days, because the source folder file was rsync into the cache source folder file, cache source file, and it was rsync with a -- checksum. So only if the source file actually changed will this file change, which is obviously better in a make system, because you only want to change the other files if the source file is actually changed. Yeah. So this is kind of a way of making the path a little more dynamic. Another thing that I want to do is have something like just cache data users, and not do this here, because that's more like a fallout of using PHP as a concrete implementation language here. But if we want to switch up this here, we want to use something like that, but we want to migrate this out into, I think, something more like laser cache. I used to have a laser cache, but that was just an in-memory cache that I never quite needed. So let's take this out, please. Thank you. And then just load it here too. Okay. Well, and the other thing that it needs to do is it needs to, if it writes to the file, first check that it has the path actually, which means that that should actually be a table. We might need to speed this up later by storing the And the same thing down here. Yeah, so there's two different data structures basically. One is just straight up content, and the other one is PHP files that contain a function basically, where you return a closure, for example. In which case you want to actually call it and not just get it. Yeah. We'll see whether that actually is a good idea or not. But that would mean in the file that we were looking at, I forgot where that was. Let's go back until we arrive there. Oh, let's look again for this here. And there it is, right. Right now this echoes out. So we kind of have to emulate the... Do we have to emulate that? No. I mean, we're not basically using this anymore. We'll instead of something else. You kind of want to have this here. But it could just as well have this as the last path. Yeah, let's do that. This and this. And in the HTML block differ, we have another argument, which is the target path. Do we actually include? We don't. Okay, so we do have to include that. And it was called laser cache. And then we want to put CC. The new data. And now I want to echo that. We write into this folder here. If you already wake up screaming, that's not a good sign. I think we might have problems. Yeah, so here there should be something like cache cc, and then the path, and we can call it this, basically. Yeah. And we can make it depend on, well, it depends on this, obviously. And also on this. Yeah. And do then the other one too. I should calm down again. She does that sometimes. I think she's waking up, but then she just turns around and goes another round. It would be nice. I would like to do this here. Oh, they've gotten our feet wet with it. Also means that this is now PHP. And this is one less. It's the same kind of same path. You're all invalid now. And this was if substring minus 21, it was 22 before, yeah, that's fine. Just needs to be indented. And why is the oh yeah, right, nope, this should also change, right? It's correct. I'm not already doing this. What is this? Make fragment target. Yeah, I'm already doing this. It's fine. But where am I writing this? Okay, so now I have this path. Oh, right, and I do not need to warm up this target cache anymore. So that should just fall away. I kind of like doing it here, because then I can use get cc, and I'm kind of testing the stuff that I want to use for the for all the data caching and so forth. I can test this in this one small instance, get all the functions running right, and hey, hi there. Oh, I'm working on like dependency stuff. It's the idea is that there's a website in Subpoint, and I'm working on that. But mostly, I'm kind of working on the stuff, the machine that builds the website. This is actually showing when you are to quit. Oh yeah, it's a minute ago. So that's what I'm working on. And I used to build websites with GNU Make, and then I built my own